Last night in Arlington, the ball was flying out of the ballpark. Both teams hit some monster shots, but unfortunately, it was the A's on the losing end as they gave up too many runs early to recover, and the Rangers took Game 1 in front of a lively Friday night crowd. Tonight, it's all about pitching as both clubs' respective #1 starters take the hill. Kendall Graveman and Yu Darvish face off under the Texas sky. Athletics look to even up the series. It's the A's and the Rangers next. A little extra windy tonight here at Globe Life Park in Arlington as we get set for Game 2 of the series. Kendall Graveman looking for his second win of the year. It is the Oakland A's and the Texas Rangers coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Kendall Graveman gets the ball tonight here in Arlington, Ray, and he's coming off a good six innings of work on opening night. You know,
I think he's the ace of the staff right now. Of course, Sonny Gray still on the disabled list, but what Kendall Graveman did last year probably put him in that ace category, and what he did on opening night, his first ever opening night start, fastball, cut fastball, good sinker, everything was working perfectly for him. He got a lot of strikeouts, he got ground ball outs, and he looked like he wanted to be the opening night starter. The best thing about this, Kipe, I think, was the fact that Bob Melvin left him in the 6th inning. He got the final out after the pitch count got over 100, and then Chris Davis hit the home run. He got the victory. All things worked out well. He should pitch well again tonight here in Texas.
And Yu Darvish, he was the opening day starter for the Rangers. Got a no decision against the Indians, and Ray, we all know about Darvish's struggles against the A's. He was a little better last year against the Athletics, but still, all in all, well, the A's seem to always have their best at-bats when Darvish is pitching.
You know, 15 starts, you get a little bit familiar with what a pitcher might be doing, but I think in Yu Darvish's case, what he has done throughout his career, very simple. He wants the strikeouts, and he gets excited when he gets 10 strikeouts. I don't think he'll ever pass Nolan Ryan, who has a record here in Texas, but he has a lot of different pitches. He has a fastball that really is exceptional. If he uses it more, he might do better. We may see that tonight.
All right, so the A's will try to bounce back and get a win in Game 2 of this series here in Arlington. Again, a very, very windy night at the ballpark. A's-Rangers coming up. We'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back, so stick around.
A's Baseball on NBC Sports California is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Jack in the Box, introducing the new Brunch Fest menu. It's brunch time, anytime at Jack in the Box.
Well, maybe a little good luck. Sonny Gray taking the lineup card out tonight for the Athletics as we are set for baseball here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. Let's check out the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open for spring break. It's a nice night temperature-wise. In fact, it's very comfortable. 78 degrees. It is extremely windy, and it's always pretty breezy in this ballpark, Ray, but even more so tonight.
Yeah, it was blowing all day. You could see it around the hotel and just continued here in at the ballpark. So temperature, you're right. And they said the warmth this weekend and the rain next week. So I think the A's may be getting out of town just in time. Just hope it doesn't go to Kansas City.
Starting lineup for the A's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Marcus Semion's going to get a shot in the leadoff spot, followed by Matt Joyce, Ryan Healy, Chris Davis, Stephen Vogt, Jed Lowry, Yonder Alonso, Mark Canha, a late addition to the lineup, and Rajai Davis hits in the ninth spot.
Yu Darvish, well documented about his success or lack of success against everybody else in the league except the Athletics, and the A's hope that holds true again tonight. But those are the last season numbers when he's 7-5 coming off Tommy John surgery, just 17 starts. Strikeouts though 132. He's been over a couple of hundred strikeouts each year with the exception of when he's been on the disabled list, but he's got an assortment of pitches. He likes to use all of them, and probably if he used his fastball a little more might have some more success, but he is a pretty good pitcher, and in the final year, Kite, I think that says a lot.
The defense for the Rangers: Rua in left, Gomez in center, Mazzara in right, Joey Gallo at third, Elvis Andrus at short, Rougned Odor at second, Mike Napoli at first, Jonathan Lucroy is the catcher. So we're set. The Texas Rangers, all white uniforms, the A's gray pants, green tops. Plenty of Yu Darvish fans in the audience, and it's a big crowd tonight. In fact, last night about 34,000, bigger tonight. It'll get close to 40,000, I would guess. Yeah. Very few empty sections, if any, in the ballpark tonight. So should be a good atmosphere Saturday night here in Arlington as Marcus Semien steps in. So the numbers for Semien in the early going: 3 hits in 14 at bats. Still looking for his first home run and his first RBI. Darvish kicks, the first pitch is outside. So we are underway.
And that first pitch, something he was doing in his first start, overthrowing a little bit, and he supposedly, if he's on the third base side, he was going to move to that side of the slab because he was overthrowing everything. And the first 2 pitches, he's done exactly that. And so yes, he is on the third base side trying to get a better angle. Kurt Young, I thought, was interesting comment. He said when a pitcher moves, it's more for the breaking pitch, not a fastball. Better move back to the first base side if that's the case, because all 3 have been extremely outside, and Marcus Semien might as well be a true leadoff hitter and make him throw a strike, if not 2.
3-0 pitch misses inside, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Marcus Semien. So that's how the ball game starts, and that'll bring up Matt Joyce. Or the Rangers using a 4-man rotation in the early part of this season. Darvish pitched on Monday, and then they had Thursday off. And the reason they're using a 4-man rotation is because of the off day this past Thursday, and then they have another off day on Monday. So they really don't need their 5th starter till April 15th. So that's next weekend. So they will, first 2 times through the rotation, they will use a 4-man rotation.
A's have an opportunity to do something on Tuesday, but it looks like they're going to stay with everybody going in the same part of the rotation. As Raul Castro started last night, just 2 innings. He'll be well rested in his next start.
1-1 to Matt Joyce, who homered last night.
He was so happy that he was able to pull his hands in. He said, I could not believe how much I was able to pull them in to keep the ball fair, because usually a fastball inside, they're going to get out in front and jerk it foul, but kept it down the right field line, and huge home run for him.
Overall, Matt Joyce 3 for 13. He has faced Darvish 11 times. He's 1 for 11 with 5 strikeouts. So he'll try to change those numbers tonight. Rolled foul.
Well, just watch his hands. The 3-1 fastball, and pull the hands in. And when you are able to do that and keep a ball fair that's inside, it had to be a shock to A.J. Griffin, who gave up the home run. But for Matt Joyce, he was also happy with the way he stayed on the changeup in his first at bat. That was a near home run to right center.
Ryan Healy will be next. Runner goes. The ball's bounced toward Napoli. Fair ball. He grabs it, steps on the bag. So that's out number 1 with Simeon going to second base. Well, tonight, any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. We'll see if Darvish gets it up there at 95. Kendall Graveman can at times.
And Darvish tops out in the upper 90s. Kendall Graveman would like to get the sinker ball, as his skipper said tonight, it'd be a good night for a sinker ball to have the ball on the ground, because with this wind you never know how the ball is going to be carrying.
Here's Ryan Healy. Healy was originally the designated hitter tonight. Trevor Plouffe was originally in the lineup playing third base, batting 8th, but Trevor Plouffe a little under the weather. So Bob Melvin put Healy at third base, and then he inserted Mark Canha in the 8th spot as the designated hitter. Jerry Meals is the crew chief, and he is the man calling balls and strikes tonight. 0-1 the count to Healy, who is 3 for 18 on the season with a couple of home runs. Hitless last night. And this one has popped up. Who knows with the wind? It may blow back into fair territory.
You know, Cap, with Trevor Plouffe under the weather, essentially Bob Melvin has a one-man bench. 2 if you count Josh Fegley, but tough to put a catcher in until an emergency latter part of the game. So Adam Rosales, who can play every place, he is right now the only, I guess, healthy person on the bench. It's an extra player.
So 0-2 to Healy with Chris Davis
Rosales behind
deck circle. Yeah. He can bounce around, play a number of positions. High in the air to shallow right, where Mazzara drifts in, and he makes the catch. So an 0-2 fastball, and Darvish gets Healy.
Now the fastball, and he's got a good one. It's right down the middle, and sometimes a hitter can do exactly that, be upset. And when Ryan Healy says, I'm just very close, well, that's a close one right there. He just got under a fastball. Instead of hitting on top and driving it, got under it.
So it's up to Chris Davis. Chris Davis homered last night, his 3rd of the year. Swing and a miss. Not a good swing by Chris Davis, looking for something else.
Well, the home run last night was a bullet to left field, and that made it an 8-4 game against the Rangers. A's could not score but one more run after that, thanks to Alex Claudio of the Rangers coming out of the bullpen.
Nice play by Lucroy. Good reaction. Sometimes you just throw your glove out there and hope it goes in, and it did.
Had no chance to get in front of it. Then you're right, Kev. Just kind of backhand the ball, breaking ball. He spiked and he put the glove. I like the direction on that pitch.
Had it all the way.
Way outside.
So 1-1 to Chris Davis, who is 6 for 16 on the season. Hit hard, but right to third. Gallo scoops it up, throws across the diamond side. Retired. Leadoff walk, but the A's cannot cash in. Bottom of the first coming up. The first, their starting lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Carlos Gomez had a good ball game last night. Shin-Soo Choo. Nomar Mazara was the hero, though. He had 6 RBIs last night, including a grand slam. Then it's Napoli, Odor, Lucroy, Gallo, Rua, and Andrus.
Kendall Graveman, as we mentioned, coming off a win in his opening night start. That was against the Angels. Went 6 innings, did a great job, and picked up the win thanks to Chris Davis' home run. A couple of starts last year against the Rangers and back-to-back starts. Matter of fact, 2 of his last 3 came against the Rangers. No decision and a loss. Did have a win a couple of years ago here in Arlington against the Rangers.
First pitch to Carlos Gomez is in first strike. Gomez was quite the leadoff hitter last night.
A lot of energy, and felt that he wanted to get his club going, and he did a very good job defensively and offensively in the first inning.
He was 2 for 4, a couple of doubles, 3 runs scored, and took a home run away from Matt Joyce. Very close pitch. When we saw him with the Astros, right here's the catch, and it looked like it was going to go out or very close.
Well, that's a change up and hit very nicely by Matt Joyce, but able to rob him. And as a result, and we're going to talk a little bit later. We talked a little bit last night about the jet stream that is no longer there. Matt remembers it, but it is not there any longer. With the wind blowing tonight, it's blowing in on us, but not back out.
And that one is belted right center. Davis hustling back, and he makes the catch. Line drive pulled in by Rajay Davis. Chris Davis in left, Rajay Davis in center, Matt Joyce in right. Then it's Healy, Simeon, Lowry, and Alonso on the infield with Stephen Vogt doing the catching. So here's Shin-Soo Choo. Choo had 2 hits last night and a walk, so he was on base 3 times. DHing again tonight.
And like you said last night, Cap, that's probably all they're going to get out of it. Just DHing. That's the way to keep him healthy, keep his bat in the lineup, and that will do it.
Graveman grabs it, flips to first. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, we talked about the conversation that Kendall Graveman had with Greg Maddux. He has 16 Gold Gloves, and Kendall Graveman, he talked to him a lot and learned about pitching. But if he's about fielding as well, that's a great job of fielding with the ball up the middle. You have to be a fielder. Greg Maddux, winning all those Gold Gloves, was outstanding. After he threw the ball, he was an infielder. And Kendall Graveman trying to do the same thing, and he did it perfectly on the Chu ground ball.
Here's Nomar Mazara. He was Babe Ruth last night. 3 for 5. Grand slam, 6 RBI, scored a couple of runs, so off to a terrific start. 10 hits and 17 at bats with 9 RBIs in the first 4 games for Texas.
Well, Kendall's got that sinker working inside of lefties, and you just don't want to make a mistake, but you throw it hard enough inside. Watch this movement on the fastball. Look at the location, perfectly thrown on the inside corner.
That's again a strike. So a very good first inning for Kendall Graveman. Gets Mazara looking, and we're scoreless after 1 from Arlington.
Numbers, and Kendall Graveman was really perfect against Mazara. The pitch cast of the 3 pitches, boom, 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 all of them right on the inside part of the plate, buckled his knees, and 3 pitches, 3 strikes. The movement on his fastball is working tremendously tonight, and good place to stay, but also can go outside when they start cheating a little bit on the inside part of the plate. But that was perfect to him.
Vogt, Lowry, and Alonso for the A's here in the top of the 2nd inning against Darvish. Vogt is 4 for 16 with a home run so far this year. He was 1 for 4 last night. Scored a run. Darvish threw 14 pitches in the 1st inning. He's had 5 runs on 6 hits last night. They had a double and a couple of home runs. Just got behind early by a large margin. They fought back a little bit.
You know, I think you were spot on when you said Alcantara might stay in the game, but when Joyce hit the home run and the A's came back, then Bob Melvin said, "Oops, we got to try to win this game. We're back in it."
Line drive right to center. Carlos Gomez comes in.
Time now for the Nissan keys to the game for Kendall Graveman, coming off a big win, but also he's really the ace right now. And for Kendall Graveman, just trying to continue that, try to pick up a win, start a win streak. And for the Athletics, we talked and have talked about the number of games within the division in the early part of the season. Good time to try to stay in the race, not get far behind. As a matter of fact, if they can take the lead, that would be great. But you get the road wins, stay strong in the division, then all that works out well for a good season.
Here's Lowry. Good swing by Lowry. He's 5 for 17 with a home run to start the season. 0 for 2 last night with a couple of walks.
He's upset that he just missed a pretty good fastball to hit.
Shifted a little bit on the infield. And now it's 0-2. Lowry hitting in the 6th spot. Same spot last night. As always, from the stretch, whether there's runners on base or not. I believe he's always been that way.
Yes, he has. From day number 1, start number 1 for the Rangers, and just feels comfortable. And looking at Andrew Triggs, he on Thursday picked up his first win in the rotation, and he started the game the same way. And he was a little concerned, but he said, "Hey, Yu Darvish does this, so I can also." He feels a lot more comfortable that way, as does Darvish.
Very close pitch, 2-2 the count.
So you need to have 6 fingers, because that many pitches are thrown by Yu Darvish.
So 18% sliders, 10% curveball. There's the flags up on top of the stadium.
It's rare when those flags are not standing straight out like that.
True.
And just think, when 2020 they have a new dome stadium, won't have to worry about it. Maybe on a windy night like tonight, the roof will be closed.
That's a base hit to center field for Jed Lowry. First hit of the game for the A's. 1 out single.
He may have just missed his first fastball, but stayed very strong. Got the count of 2-2, and then here comes a breaking ball. And Yu Darvish hangs a slider right in the middle of the plate.
So here is Yonder Alonso, who is celebrating a birthday today. So happy birthday to Yonder Alonso. He's the big 3-0 today, 30 years old.
Well, in the lunchroom, they had a makeshift birthday cake. It wasn't real, but it looked good anyway. So Chumley and Kelly put it out there, and it was for Yonder. So maybe after the game they'll have a real one.
Maybe. Alonso, 5 hits, 14 at bats so far this year. Got 3 RBIs. Left side of the infield for the Rangers slid over again. Not all the way. Anders near second base.
Well, back to a breaking ball, the slider, and the point of the front part of the plate where our pitch cast is, that showed a strike. And then Stephen Vogt was talking about some of the breaking pitches last night. He said, with the breaking ball where I'm set up, if I catch it without a hit in dirt, it's got to be a strike because it's crossing the plate, just like we talked about. That box in the front part of the plate, catcher's 3 to 4 feet behind home plate, depending on the hitter.
To the count to Alonso with Marcana in the on-deck circle.
There's your distance. See home plate. See where Lucroy's set up.
Misses outside, 95 miles per hour. He started a runner in the first inning. It was Simeon who walked. He ended up getting to second base on a ground ball. And Yonder Alonso waves at that pitch, and that's the first strikeout for Darvish.
He swung at the motion and could not hold up on a pitch that ultimately bounced into the dirt, blocked nicely by Lucroy, and she does a very good job of that.
So 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. I'm going to bring up Mark Canha. Canha is the designated hitter. He's 0 for 5 on the season. He was in the starting lineup on Thursday night, or Thursday day, I should say.
Martin Perez, a lefty, scheduled to pitch tomorrow, and if that's the case, then might see similar lineup to Thursday. Day game after night game anyway, plus a lefty on the mound.
Lefties in Kansas City. Jason Vargas on Thursday is scheduled to pitch for the Royals. He's a lefty. Just missed 1-1.
You know, one of the things about all the information that is gathered, Adam Rode, the video coordinator, puts it together, and the percentage of pitcher throws certain pitches. And the thing with Darvish, with all the pitches he throws, you almost have to just try to see the ball and decide what you're going to do. If you try to evaluate what pitch he's going to throw in a certain count, you may be wrong. That's 3 consecutive fastballs. That's rare for him to throw 3 fastballs in succession.
I think too, he gets a lot of guys to chase out of the strike zone.
Absolutely, that's his key. And when he throws it with the delivery like he did to Alonso, you have a tendency to swing at a delivery. And if you can pick up the spin and you see the way he's throwing the ball, and good hitters can pick up the spin on the baseball. But you have so little time to react once the pitcher throws the ball.
Runner goes. Pitch is strike 3 called. The throw down to second base does not matter because Canha was called out on strike. So a couple of strikeouts for Darvish, a strand a runner. We go to bottom of the second. It'll be Napoli, Odor, and Lucroy. No score.
Coming that mobile app, stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, text, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball. Wow.
Are you a kebab guy?
What is that? What is that?
That's a hot dog.
Wow. Got to cut that up or just eat the whole thing? Eat the whole.
Yeah, I'd probably get a hot dog before I get a kebab. Napoli, the cleanup hitter, leading it off. Hits it hard. Simeon stays down on it. And that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the second.
You know, Kendall Graveman, we saw the at-bat against Mazzara, the 3 fastballs inside, the 2-seamers. First 2 pitches to Mike Napoli. Stephen Vogt's going back to the same spot. And that is the outside corner to the right-hander, inside corner to the left-hander. We'll see what he does with Odor, who hit the pitch away from him last night, crushed it off speed from Alcantara.
So here's Odor. So Odor doing his thing. He'll get in there at some point. There he is. Whack.
Oh my. The late Don Drysdale, I can only imagine, but just to get a shovel. Some pitchers would say, you're going to dig a hole, I'm going to put you in it.
Not anymore.
Not anymore is right. But that's rare. You very rarely see that. That's how hard the home plate is, and usually the cleats will dig enough, but using the bat, and then he took all the time. Kendall Graveman was ready to throw probably 30 seconds before.
So 1-1 the count. As we like to say, he plays with an edge.
Yes, he does.
And that's okay, because he can back it up.
Yes, he definitely will back it up. Yeah, started to swing on this fastball inside and held up. But Kendall Graveman going inside as he did with Mazzard. He's going to do it again on this fastball.
Just missed. 3-1 the count to Odor. Odor is 1 for 10 in his career against Graveman. Lucroy will follow. Big swing, fouled straight back.
Shook the breaking ball on the 3-1 instead of going back to the fastball. Then, of course, he has the option. The problem with a lefty in this park, and you miss inside. He's going back in with a fastball inside.
And he just missed.
But with power hitters, you have to make sure. Mazzara, he did a good job. Odor just missed, but
no, Ray, that's Tony Beasley. I don't know Tony Beasley, but you know what? I'm glad he's out there.
Absolutely.
Beginning of last year, or last spring training, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he missed all of last year. But in December of this past offseason, he was declared cancer-free, and he's back out there. So you know what? We're happy for Tony Beasley.
Absolutely.
I'm sure last year, not an easy year for him. Cancer surgery and all.
But he had tremendous support, a lot of prayers, and he is back at third base and baseball where he wanted to be.
Yeah, you think he wasn't glad to get back out on the diamond in spring training? A's looking for a ground ball. I want to know now to Jonathan Lucroy.
You know, it's nice too, Keck, with that story about Beasley, that the job was there when he came back. There are times, unfortunately, you miss time, somebody takes over now. Well, you know, but it's nice the Rangers thought enough of him and helped him through his treatments and said the job is yours whenever you're ready to come back, and he is back now.
Outfield playing Lucroy toward right. Chris Davis is way off the line.
But I have to wonder about Odor, because the fact that Kendall Graveman is a ground ball pitcher. Managers have said that ground ball pitcher, you try to stay out of a double play. by sending the runner.
LaCroix hits it foul down the third baseline. Graveman threw just 10 pitches in that first inning. Pops out of the glove of Stephen Vogt. So the count 1-2.
Elevated fastball, exactly what Kendall Graveman wants.
LaCroix does not have a home run or an RBI yet this year. And that one just missed.
That's the pitch he did not get. Kendall Graveman in his first start. That was against Escobar. Pitch, yeah, shows it just off the plate. Good take by LaCroix.
Right back to Graveman. He spins, fires it a little bit wide, and everybody's going to be safe. Popped out of the glove of Simeon. He did have to reach for it. So that's going to be an error.
You know, and even had he let the ball go, it might have been right on the bag for Jed Lowry to catch and throw to first. But the throw offline a little bit, and what you have to do as a pitcher, throw to the bag. And he tried to lead him a little bit too much. He actually threw a better sinker to Simeon than he's thrown to the plate so far. But should have been a double play, should have been out of the inning, and you cannot give the extra outs. Right now, Kendall Graveman has the power hitter Joey Gallo with a couple of runners on.
Gallo takes a touch inside.
To give the air to.
I did not hear if it was officially on Graveman. Gallo hits it hard but foul down the first base line. Looked like Ray Marcus on that play. He got a pretty good glove on it, but maybe his feet got a little mixed up because he was thinking about maybe I got to reach a little further than he really had to. So Odor at second, LaCroix at first. There's a strike, so he got the inside corner that time.
A good two-seamer and missed it with Odor. Came back perfectly to Gallo, at least close enough on pitch catch to show it a strike for Jerry Meals. Staying in there and
out in front.
One of the things and these left-handers will remember a second time through the batting order, and if they try to go in there and start cheating, and that's where it's important for Stephen Vogt, the catcher, to watch the feet of the hitter, because they will tell you if they're going to start looking for the pitch that's been thrown pretty consistently by Kendall Graveman. Sometimes you get the scouting reports about doing certain things and you stay that way instead of watching the hitter, and you see that front foot open up a little bit, then he's going to think, all right, you're going to throw it in there, I'm going to open up a little bit better.
Into the Rangers dugout. 18 pitches so far this inning for Graveman. Still only one out. Gallo, slightly open stance. Back to Graveman. He gets another chance. Fires a strike to Simeon on the first. Double play. So the A's pulled it off, and the Rangers do not score. We're scoreless after 2. Known as NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. No score as we've reached the top of the third here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. Game 2 of this 6-game road trip on to Kansas City after the game tomorrow.
I think Kendall Graveman learned a lot after the first throw to second and ends up getting one right back to him on the next hitter and turns the perfect 1-6-3 double play. But it was funny kind of watching him. He's very slow walking off the mound, but he was very emphatic with his throw to second. Like, I'm going to throw a four-seamer, no sink to it. And actually throws a little bit low. Nice recovery by Semien, who was standing on second anyway.
Here's Rajay Davis. First pitch is low, and you wonder, Ray, the ball that he caught from Lucroy, the one that he threw a little wide, he was kind of off to the side of the mound. Yeah. And you wonder if just the side tilt of the mound could affect your throwing.
And you know,
it's not easy to throw on non-flat ground.
And that's a great point, because we've seen guys who catch a ball in front of the mound and throw uphill, end up throwing the ball.
That's a difficult throw.
Exactly. So you're right. You have I mean, it's not as high as it once was before Bob Gibson had the 1.12 ERA, but when they lowered it, it still has a little bit of a hump to it. So it's not flat.
I think it's a more difficult throw than people realize. I think because you're automatically in a big hurry. Yeah. Automatically.
Well, this time he catches it, and
see, this is the first one. Now watch, he's off to the side, and that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it could be.
Well, and he kind of guided the ball, and maybe trying to anticipate Semien getting to the bag.
Mazzara is not going to get it, but I think as a pitcher, you're in a hurry, and you don't always have that perfect four-seam grip.
That's
and
good.
You're throwing to a moving target. So
and that's why when he made the error, and it's just like a catcher. When you throw to second, if nobody's there, you throw it anyway. You throw to the bag, and that's what a pitcher. They work on PFP, picture fundamental practice. They catch the ball, throw to the bag, and the infielder's supposed to be there. You don't wait, because by that time you're not going to turn a double play anyway.
1-2 to Rajay Davis. Rajay hits one high and deep to left field. Rua going back, but Rua's going to have enough room, and he makes the catch. One out here in the top of the third.
Well, not a good place to hit a ball. Hanging curve ball. Rajay got under it, but with the wind blowing the way it is, you have to hit it on the line. The wind's going to knock any high fly ball to left field. They're going to knock it down, keep it in the park. Chris Davis last night, a line drive went through the wind.
So here's the top of the order, Marcus Semien. No strike call, didn't have to be. Marcus walked in the first inning. Ended up stranded at second base. Good sinking action by Darvish. Sure, Marcus would love to hit more near the top of the order on a regular basis. He also is a nice threat to have in the lower part of the lineup. Anyway, so 2-2 the count.
Well, this is what he did against Yu Darvish late last season, and of course he hit 27. Night game, not as windy, in the back of the lower deck. So Ryan Healy was in there at number 48.
Two pitch, very close, 97 miles an hour. It's a strike.
Well, the front part of the plate it was 97.
in the air toward the seats, and it will reach the seats.
You think about the pitches that just miss or not called. And again, last night, in talking to some of the people who were part of it, and insisted that in Odor's case should have been struck out before he hit the home run. So little things happen that cause a pitcher to throw more pitches.
Three-two is low, and Marcus Semien with a very good at-bat, and he walks for the second time.
Right fielder Matt Joyce.
Home struggles. Darvish, his home ERA significantly higher than his road ERA. It's a bit of a surprise.
Yes. Well, maybe he wants to impress the home folks, but you know, he has the traveling media from Japan that's with him on the road or at home, doesn't matter. So that shouldn't affect him.
First pitch to Joyce. Breaking ball in for a strike. Staying healthy has been an issue for Darvish. 2014, he was on the disabled list twice. 2015, he missed the entire year. And last year, he was on the disabled list twice. So in that 3-year stretch, 2014, 15, and 16, he made a total of 39 starts. So he needs to stay out there. And when he's out there, he's very good.
And, you know, that's a good point, Kai, because as he approaches free agency, whether he re-signs with his own club or goes on the market, I'm sure that's going to factor in the durability. I mean, as a pitcher, the injury throughout his career, I mean, how's it going to affect trying to get a long-term contract, which in today's world with a long-term deal for a pitcher is mega bucks.
Well, he's 30 years old. He'll be 31 in August. So when he reaches free agency, 31 years old. Obviously, he's only ever been with the Texas Rangers. Semien runs, and he's going to have a stolen base as the ball pops out of the glove of Lucroy on the exchange. So the A's get Semien to second base again.
Well, he's got a high leg kick, very slow to the plate, and that's why breaking ball on top of it makes it very difficult for the catcher. Try to backhand and throw, could not do it. But it's all about the stopwatch and the time that Darvish takes to get rid of the ball, get it to the plate, and he is slow. Just watching him and his delivery.
Two one is bounced foul. So 2-2 to Matt Joyce with Healy in the on-deck circle. Yeah, I'm sure the Rangers, would love to have Darvish back, but how far do you go? You go 4 years, 5 years? That's a long time.
Because you got to be looking at least 20 a year.
I think nothing's a guarantee, but I think any type of history of injuries as a pitcher, $20 million a year is a lot.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That needs to be given to a guy who, as much as you can count on them going out there, they're going to take the ball and not go to the disabled list.
And you almost have to say, if you're going to give it to a pitcher, you better give it to a position player who plays 150, 160 games. I mean, there's at least out there every day, and you know, a starter today, 35 starts is a lot.
So full count to Joyce, who grounded to first in the first. And again, the count stays full. So the A's are making Darvish work. He's already up to 49 pitches in the game. In fact, he's thrown 19 in this inning alone, and this is just the third hitter that he's facing. balls, 30 strikes. And a fastball, and Joyce missed it. Right in the outside corner.
You notice the swing? It was, he's not going to throw me a fastball, and he did. Throw him a hanging breaking ball the previous pitch, this time with the fastball, and this is kind of a, excuse me, hurry up swing. He's throwing a fastball. He recognized it, couldn't do anything with it. But I think Darvish tonight saw him with Mark Canha, threw him 4 fastballs. 3 for strikes and a strikeout.
So now the A's need a 2-out hit from Ryan Healy, who hit a fly ball to right field in the first. First pitch fastball coming right at Healy. So that was a good pitch to hit.
He got 3 fastballs in his first at bat.
Yep.
So it is more tonight, and maybe Darvish threw out his lack of success against the Athletics. I mean, that's a hittable pitch down the middle. But if you see all these percentages, and you see the percentage of curveballs, etc., and then all of a sudden he knows that he's throwing more fastballs, and granted in his 14 starts he's 3-9, so that says a lot about lack of success against a particular team. Everybody else he seems to pitch well against.
Simeon dancing around at second base. The 0-1 pitch. Curveball spins in for a strike, and Healy thought maybe it came around the plate. Let's see if it did.
How about a cross-up?
Close.
Do you watch Lucroy? He went up and down, so he may have called what he thought was a fastball. Instead got the curveball.
So Healy's going to have to fight here, down 0-2. That one looked like more of a good hard sinking fastball. There's scrambling going on in the A's dugout, but looks like everybody survived. Oh-2 pitch, high fastball, chased it, Healy, and that's a strikeout. So 4 strikeouts through 3 innings for Darvish. He gets a couple big ones there. Bottom of the third coming up. It looks like the next city we're going to, Kansas City, but no. No. That's right here in Arlington.
Man, there's some grease on that, isn't there?
Yeah.
You better bring that up here since you can't sell it.
Yeah. You can drop it on the floor. We'll still eat it.
I just brush it off.
24-hour rule up here. Ryan Rua leading it off. Quick 0-2 from Graveman to Rua. Rua, Andrus, and Gomez. In the bottom of the third, no score. Good pitcher's duel. Graveman and Darvish, both guys who started on opening day for their respective teams.
Speaking of opening day, I know you're a great member. You'll remember 2015 when Sonny Gray had a no-hitter going for the opening night against the Rangers, and Ryan Rua broke it up. Base hit to right field.
We thought he was going to get it.
Yeah.
Rua was thrown out.
As we talked about, the sigh of relief from Kurt Young and Bob Melvin that he didn't have to go out because the pitch count was going up. And so only the great Bob Feller ever to throw a no-hitter on opening day. Sonny Gray came close, but Ryan Rua broke it up, and the sigh of relief from the manager, pitching coach, and Sonny was out. Unfortunately, last year, food poisoning. You see our friend Rich Hill went on the disabled list with a blister on his middle finger again on his throwing hand.
That's not good.
No.
Because first start, under the end. I don't know of a pitcher who had more issues with a blister in one season than Rich Hill. I don't remember a guy ever having this much of a blister situation. And now it creeps up the very first start of the next year.
Yeah, he was on the training. I mean, and the Dodger took him when he was on the disabled list because of the blister on his finger. And he came back and was able to pitch in postseason and got a huge contract with the Dodgers. 4-year contract, which was great. But unfortunately, the blister. And Jesse Hahn had a similar problem 2015, but that's subsided. He has not had any additional problems with it.
2-1 to Elvis Andrus. 5 for 14 on the season for the shortstop. 1 for 4 in last night's game. Healy handles it. Fires across, 2 outs. He was good. Ivan Rodriguez, 13 Gold Gloves, 14-time All-Star, and a member of the front office for the Texas Rangers.
And will be inducted into Cooperstown in late July, along with Tim Raines and Jeff Bagwell on the players' side.
And Bill King.
Bill King, of course, on the Saturday, the Ford Frick. Absolutely cannot forget Bill.
Are you going?
I want to be with you, partner.
Because we are in Toronto.
Yeah.
And then we leave from Toronto on a Thursday, but that weekend is Hall of Fame weekend. I would imagine our good friend Ken Korak will
be there.
He will be leaving us from Toronto and heading to Cooperstown, as he should.
And you know, Chuck Morgan with Pudge Rodriguez going in. Chuck Morgan, the public address announcer, of course, many years. He's never missed a game. And he said they wanted him to go, and he said it's more important to stay and continue my streak, because the streak would have ended.
Sure.
And I want to say, trying to think, somebody had a consecutive game streak when Cal Ripken was inducted, and it ended because of that. I mean, I know who it was. Is the Tyler, Freddie Tyler, Jim Tyler's father, who handled the umpires. He had a consecutive game, and it ended when Cal went in the Hall of Fame. Ernie Tyler. Ernie Tyler. Good man.
Three and two now to Carlos Gomez, who lined out to Rajai Davis in the first inning.
Ernie Tyler actually had more consecutive games worked than Cal Ripken, but they were only home games. Cal did it on the road.
Well, that's true. Yeah. He had a break in between.
Yeah, he did a old stadium in Baltimore, and then of course Camden Yards.
Lowry comes in, gets a big hop, and Graveman has a 3-up, 3-down inning, 3 ground ball outs. Good pitcher's duel tonight here in Arlington. We are scoreless after 3.
Presented by Black Bear Diner are scheduled for Sunday, April the 23rd and Sunday, May the 7th. Little League Days feature a pregame festival, an on-field parade for uniformed players and coaches, and a giveaway item. To purchase and for discounts on groups of 25 or more, visit athletics.com/Little League or call 510-638-GO-A's. And there's a dance-off between the mascot of the Rangers, and that was the finale.
Oh, what a push-up. Could have an announcer dance-off. You and Tom Grieve.
I think not.
That would be awesome. Awesome.
I'd rather stay here with you, Mike.
So Chris Davis to lead it off, 4th inning. No score. Just one hit in the game, and that was Lowry's 1-out single in the 2nd inning. One hit for both teams. Breaking ball just missed, 2-0. Chris Davis grounded out to end the 1st inning. He did that with a runner at 2nd base. Just missed, and that looked like it may have been a strike.
July 27, a hanging curveball, and Chris Davis, number 24, here at the ballpark. That was the 1st inning against Yu Darvish. A's won the game 6-4. He did not get the loss, but the A's did win. Of course, we talked last night about how Chris Davis, if there's ever a time that you own a team, a pitching staff, Chris Davis did last year.
10 home runs.
Oh, what a season. One last night. 2 opening night.
24 RBIs in 18 games against the Rangers last year. Hits that one hard past Chip Hale. Now it's 3-2. Four strikeouts, 2 walks for Darvish so far. He's stranded a couple. Good pitch there as he gets his 5th strikeout and his 3rd in a row.
Well, he went slider on the 3-2 offering, and Chris Davis, that was as good a slider on 3-2 you're ever going to see from a pitcher. And Chris Davis swung through it. Well, pitch cast and got to 3-0, but then came back and nasty slider on 3-2, and Chris Davis, no contact. Again, one of the better ones he'd thrown tonight. It's over 60 pitches and at 60, and maybe just starting to feel very good about his breaking pitches.
Vogt drives one to left field. Rua goes back, turns around, circles underneath it, and grabs it for the 2nd out. So that'll bring up Lowry. Just a couple of ground ball outs, 4 flyouts, and the 5 strikeouts for Yu Darvish. Lowry with the only hit in the game. He lined a single to center. Lowry, one of a handful of A's that will be free agents next year, Ray. Yonder Alonso will be a free agent. Ed Lowry. Trevor Plouffe just signed a 1-year deal, so he will be a free agent. John Axford will be a free agent, right?
Yeah. Madsen will have another year, signed a 3-year deal. Doolittle signed long-term. Dell is under control. Casillas signed a 2-year deal.
Adam Rosales, Rajay Davis, they will be free agents.
Matt Joyce signed a 2-year contract.
Oh, 2. Luke Croy sets up outside. And on an 0-2 pitch, Lowry has his 2nd hit. Ball just Got a little bit too much to the middle of the plate. It was down, but not really down and away.
Well, they tried to throw him a fastball this time. Hung a slider his previous at bat when he went up the middle. This time with the fastball, stayed on it, kind of guided it. And maybe Jed Lowry, like Matt Joyce, thinking something off speed, that he was not overly aggressive. Had he been on the count, he might have rolled over and pulled the ball. But I think there's what we've talked about. When a hitter gets a couple of strikes, he changes his approach. And Jed Lowry very good about that.
First pitch to Yonder Alonso in the dirt. Astros leading the Royals 2-1 in the 7th inning in Houston. Duffy and Keuchel, a couple of good left-handers, the starting pitchers in that one. The Royals got their first win last night. And speaking of disabled list, see where Colin McHugh got put on the disabled list with elbow injury. He's going to be out for about 6 weeks at least.
The interesting thing, a former Astro, Doug Fister, still out there.
Still out there.
And he wants a major league contract. He might get one now if the Astros decide. But he said he didn't want to pitch in the minors, but since he has not pitched, he's going to have to start there anyway on rehab, or at least to pitch before he joins a major league team. But at least I guess he would have a major league contract, is what he is trying to get.
Well, I guess, you know, you can't blame these guys. And you know, Coco Chris still out there. Angel Pagan never signed, and I think they, you see their point where they want a major league contract, but after a while there comes a point where
if they want
outside of an injury, you're probably not going to get one. And yeah, if you want to keep playing, I just think you don't have a lot of negotiating power.
Exactly. Well, and you know, if a player saves his money, then he could afford to do that. This pitch, Darvish wanted, did not get. Hands on his hip. Not a good idea for the home plate umpire or any umpire to act that way, but it was a pitch that could have been a strike. Was not.
So 3-1 to Alonso. And he swung at ball 4.
Alonso wanted to make it 2-0. Get his first home run. That was a look for fastball, got a slider, and he swung, and he struck out on a curveball his first at bat.
So a full count, 2 outs. Lowry will take off. Napoli playing right behind him. Runner goes, and the pitch is belted to left field. Rua hustling back. He's going to get there. Turns around and makes the catch. So Alonso hit it well into the glove of Rua. Runner stranded, and the A's do not score.
take on the Seattle Mariners. 10,000 fans will receive a Warriors-A's t-shirt. Town Business. Brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. For tickets and more information, visit athletics.com/promotions or call 877-493-BALL. Go Dubs. I'm going. Got a chance to rest a few guys down the stretch a little bit, don't they?
Just don't do it all in one game.
That's right.
Chu, Mazzara, and Napoli here in the end of the 4th inning. So a quick 0-2 count to Shin-Soo Choo, who bounced out to first in the 1st. I think with the Rangers losing the offensive Ian Desmond and Mitch Moreland and Carlos Beltre, nice play by Healy. He takes a hit away from Chu. Playing in a little bit, so that make that play even a little more difficult.
And shifting over towards shortstop, you can see where Simeon is. He went after it. It was going to be a tougher play for Marcus, who was getting ready to go in the back end. So Healy diving, coming up quickly, and being able to throw out Chu to start this inning. What you're saying?
Well, I mean, Carlos Beltran was a big part, even though he only came for the final 2 months. You talk about offensive production. Him, Ian Desmond, Mitch Moreland. Those are players that left the Rangers. And as far as additions, it's Mike Napoli. So I think that's where Chu comes in, where he really needs to stay healthy, because you could say Chu wasn't even around last year because he hardly didn't play at all.
That's the second souvenir that fisherman has gotten so far tonight.
We'll get more.
Yeah, especially with that net.
Inside.
But that's a good point, because when he got Mike Napoli, granted he's had a lot of success 8 of the last 10 years. You mentioned last night in postseason. But he has holes. He's got some holes.
And streaky.
Yeah. And he's got a great clubhouse presence. But when you sign him, as he waits the on-deck circle, you want the production offensively, and he will, throughout the course of a season, be able to come through with some huge hits. Very strong, hit it out any part of any park in baseball.
The Rangers last year were 4th in the American League in total runs scored. So, as always, they're a very good offensive team.
Fastball inside, a little bit up, and good movement again, as he did with Mazzaro in his first about 3 fastball sinkers inside. Got him at the hip, broke into the strike zone.
So full count to Nomar Mazzara.
That's 8 pitches and 2 at-bats to Mazzara. They've all been in the same location, and just have to wonder what Stephen Vogt will decide to do on this 3-2. It's going to go back in, same location.
High in the air, but shallow down the right field line. Joyce over near the seats, and he's got it for the 2nd out.
Scary.
A little bit. He had a big swing.
Yes, he did. In fact, you notice the helmets that the Rangers are wearing. It's like the matte finish. It's not shiny that you see normally on helmets around baseball. It's a different look. Notice about these guys. Here's your pitch cast. All inside with that one there, and then the finale, the 3-2. Fortunately, he got under it because he has the power to match Joey Gallo with the distance. There's that matte look on the helmet, which
see a few teams going to that.
Yeah, it's like some cars are painted that way, right?
Napoli off to a slow start. He's 1 for 16 so far this season.
Well, similar to weather, of course, in Cleveland, it could get hot and humid in the summertime as we see it. Early in this season, it's cold, can be. In the last month here, it's pleasant pretty much the entire season. So that he's very familiar with. He had some good seasons when the Rangers went to World Series. Postseason was unbelievable.
That's right. He's been with the Rangers 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's had success. But you remember when he signed with the Red Sox, he had a 3-year contract for a lot of money. Had a hip problem. Failed a physical. Ended up getting a 1-year contract plus incentives. He ended up making more at the end of the 3 years than he would have if he signed the original contract.
Good pitch by Graveman as he gets his second strikeout and another good inning. Both pitchers rolling along as we head to the 5th inning. No score between the A's and the Rangers.
NBC Sports California is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Subaru Impreza. Comes in both 4-door and 5-door options. More than a car, it's a Subaru.
We're at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. The A's and the Rangers, no score. It's the 5th inning. Canna, Rajai Davis, and Marcus Semien to try to get things going against Yu Darvish. There's 2 hits off Darvish so far. Both singles by Lowry. So he's been sharp. Graveman's been sharp. 5 strikeouts for Darvish.
In a park that usually surrenders a lot of runs, either by both teams or one team. Tonight, both pitchers outstanding pitching.
Canna struck out looking in the 2nd inning.
On 4 fastballs, and he gets a breaking ball in his first pitch in this at bat.
Fastball on the inside corner. Canna with that good opposite field power. And he skies this one to center, and it's hit well. Gomez goes back, and he's got it.
Hit a pitch out of the strike zone, hit it well to center field. Pitch cast and went down to get it. Got under it and hit it well, but tough night to hit the ball in the air because you really don't know what the flags are doing. The wind is that's affecting a fly ball. But the flags blowing hard as they have since the beginning of the game, actually all day.
First pitch to Rajai Davis is line to right, down the line, and that's going to get down. It's going to be extra bases. Rajai Davis hustling into second. He'll stop there, and it's a 1-out double. So third hit of the year for Rajai Davis.
Mazara played that well because you had to be thinking, Rajai had to be thinking 3, got a high hanging slider that sliced it down the right field line, but Mazara played the ball off the wall perfectly because Rajai, with 1 out, wanted to get to third base, but Mazara barehanded the ball. Got it back in. Rajai looking, and that's where you want to pick up your third base coach. Rajai looking back, and he was hoping that he could have gotten to third, not able to. But, man, that's why the third base coach is there, especially Chip Hale, who's on top of everything. You don't have to look around or look back and slow yourself down.
Chip was ready.
He was ready. Now, Chip said something, and there was an article about Ryan Butterfield in Boston, how he's kind of getting out of the coaching box. And Chip said, as long as you're behind in the coaching box, once the pitch is thrown, then you can move. Yeah. And, you know, it's kind of getting used to that. And,
And they got him.
Inside move. He wanted to get to third any way he could, and unfortunately got picked off. The inside move is a move that base stealers have to be concerned about at second base, because if you get too anxious, he did, and there's the move, and there's the pickoff, and a big play. Lindor caught it. Snow cone, held on with both hands because the ball was not in his glove for very long.
You see Odor as well, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with doing that. He put his legs down.
Yeah.
He's trying to block the guy.
Exactly.
Trying to get back to second base, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, until he got control of the ball, you're right, and he did all of that at the same time, and ended up the snow cone in his glove and the ball in his hand.
Andrus drifts back, waves everybody off, and that'll do it. So Davis gets the double, but he gets picked off. Nothing else going on for the Athletics. Bottom of the fifth coming up. Can be found on the channels listed here. You can't find NBC Sports California Plus. Log on to NBCSportsCalifornia.com or call your local TV provider. Bottom of the fifth, no score. Rangers looking for their first hit. Kendall Graveman has walked 1. He has struck out 2. He's rolling along.
Well, you're seeing hitters do a lot of that. Catching the fastballs inside and opening up and pulling them foul. I almost want to play the lefties, 3 guys on the right side of every bat, the way Kendall is pitching them inside. 2 to the right. Semien close to second.
Odor walked in the second inning.
Well, here's his uppercut. That's why he can handle the pitches up and away the way he did last night against Alcantara.
And he swings the same way and missed it again. So strikeout number 3 for Graveman. Well, you can now stream the A's on the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app. One away here in the bottom of the 5th. Jonathan Lucroy steps up. Lucroy reached on Graveman's throwing error in the second inning. Graveman in a good groove right now, working quickly. Since that throwing error, Graveman has retired 8 in a row, including a double play. So he's just rocking fire now. Running right in on the hands of Lucroy.
Yeah, that location of Stephen Vogt set up outside. He wants the two-seamer that he throws the left-handers. Same location of the right-handers as he started the game, but overthrew it a little bit and got too much movement inside. But like Odor on a fastball in, the right-hander Lucroy pulled it foul.
Tapped over the mound. Semien scoops, throws quickly, and they just get Lucroy 2 away.
That play made by Marcus Semien, it got a bad hop, but that's how much he is improving, because he got a bad hop and adjusted as he was taking his little crow hop. Watch him as he gets it into his hands. Looks like it takes a little bit of a bad hop, but as he's charging, his momentum going towards first, and then right over the top with a strong throw. And so far this season, he's been very accurate with his throws, not throwing as many sinkers, which is good. But if you catch the ball, momentum takes you, then you can make the adjustment, get the ball, and let it go, as long as you make a good throw.
0-1 to Gallo. High pop-up, long run for Chris Davis, headed toward the line. He's going to get there, and he makes the catch. So rolling along right now is Kendall Graveman. He's retired 10 in a row.
Used to hit more to right center than the left. Oh, there's a long drive. Ball's hit deep, deep. It is gone. He did it! He did it! Henry Aaron is the all-time home run leader now. Listen to this!
So that is our true story for tonight, brought to you by McDonald's. 43 years ago tonight, Hammer and Hank did it. April 8th, 1974.
I want to say we were in Kansas City watching it when it happened. Yeah. Tom House caught the ball. He was with the Braves. And I think they had a little bit of contest because they figured if it's going to go in, who's going to catch it. Tom House caught the ball, ran to home plate, and gave it to Hank Aaron.
Good move.
Yep. Tom House worked for the Rangers, worked with Nolan Ryan. He now, and I was talking to Andrew Triggs. Andrew Triggs worked with him at USC and actually went to a camp and got him at USC. But you think about what Tom House as a baseball player is working, and Triggs said he's probably worked with every NFL quarterback because he used the football to teach pitchers how to throw the baseball. Andrew Triggs, and he was saying he went to the Tom House camp and many years seeing him with the Rangers, see his pitchers out throwing footballs. And what is going on? But that was, if you could throw a spiral with the football, and you being a big football man, you probably had a great spiral, right?
Sure, right. Put your gun out. He ducks up there.
You and Aaron Rodgers, right?
Well, just because of the anniversary, it's because it's fun to do it. Just looked up Hank Aaron's career. I mean, you know what the numbers are, right? But you got to do it once in a while just to appreciate it. So the most home runs he ever hit in a season, Ray, was 47.
Yeah.
That was 1971. He never hit 50. He was always between 35 and 45. But the thing that I didn't know, in his career, more walks than strikeouts. Think about that.
That's right.
Those days
amazing.
Are over.
Oh, exactly. We had a game, the Braves, when I was with the Indians training in Tucson. The Braves came through, and what a Barnes never got heading west. And I was behind the plate. I'll never forget it. Sam McDowell was pitching, and I'm thinking National League home run hitter. Sam, great curveball, boom, curveball. Another curveball, great. Called another curveball. Sam shook me off through a fastball, and you talk about some wrist. He was through the fastball so quickly before I could get up. He was off the left field wall. That's how quick he was. I went, okay, he can hit a fastball.
It was somewhat of a unique swing.
Oh, it was. It's all wrist.
Just
unbelievably strong, and just that the swing that he had was just basically his stride, and then the wrist would just pop it through.
And a leadoff walk from Matt Joyce. So good start for the A's here in the top of the sixth.
You know who was in the on-deck circle that game?
Dusty.
That's right.
I want to know what happened to those two guys that ran out on the field.
They came back for the anniversary. A little bit older now.
You know what? Give them credit.
That's right.
You know, in our line of work, Ray, and you met a lot more people than I have, but you meet a lot of baseball people, former players, and it's very exciting. I've never met Hank Aaron, and it is a bucket list thing for me to do, because I heard he's just one of the nicest people you could ever meet. And I've never got to meet him, and I hope to do that sometime. So Hank, if you're listening, give me a call. Come up and see us.
No, come to Oakland when the Braves come out to play in Interleague.
That's right. There you go.
I told Wash, I was talking to Wash.
Fair ball into the corner, and here comes Matt Joyce. He's heading for third, and Chip's going to hold him up, but the A's are in business. Second and third, and nobody out.
The same pitch that Ryan Healy struck out on the previous at bat, the fastball. He got one similar, but tomahawked this one right over the top. So getting on top of the ball for Ryan Healy versus getting under it, that was special because he had it down the left field line. Hard for Chip Hale to hold up Matt Joyce, but with nobody out, good idea, because I tell you, the outfielders, Royal got the ball back in quickly like Mazzara did on Rajay Davis double. And I was talking to Wash as he was going to Florida for spring training. I said, Wash, tell Hammer and Hank hello. I said, tell him to come to Oakland whenever you guys come into town.
Serious, he's got to come out.
I know. But down the line, Ryan Ruoff picking up the ball, getting it back in. Both Mazara and Ruoff picking the ball up barehanded.
Dario Alvarez loosening up, so first action in the bullpen for the Rangers. 84 pitches for Darvish.
But one of my prized possessions is an autographed baseball of Hank Aaron that I got, and an autographed baseball card 1958 of Hank Aaron.
He was pretty good back then.
He was outstanding. And what a gentleman.
And he finished his career. That 74 season was his last year in Atlanta. And then he finished his career in Milwaukee the final 2 years with the Brewers. That was a big deal.
And I want to say, Kemp, when he hit 714, they were on the road. And
opening day,
yeah,
in Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati, and
with 2 more games to play.
Right, and I think he was forced to play. I think that he wanted to send him out to go home.
I think he may have,
and
or he played 1 game.
Yeah, there's something about that. They said, no, you've got to play. But ended up hitting it in Atlanta anyway, and his mother there coming down, and that was a great scene to see at home plate in Atlanta.
He's need a big hit here from Chris Davis. 1-1 the count.
Well, interesting that with the 6th inning and the way these two pitchers are pitching and the manager's decision, the infield playing back. So Chris Davis, a situation like this, and they do not want to open up a big inning, but that's a gift run. If Chris Davis can make contact, of course, at first base, Napoli on the grass and over, same at third base, but up the middle, they are in the normal position.
That one cued to Napoli, who was playing about 20 feet off first base, and the ball was right to him. So that's a break for the Rangers.
Huge break.
Because he's, as you just said, he's in. Odor is back. And look where he's playing.
Yeah, and if it's anywhere to the right, I mean, Napoli is a foot race, and he's going to get there easily while looking back to see what Matt Joyce was doing.
So kind of an unconventional defensive lineup, but boy, it worked.
And they're playing the same way, but cued off the end of the bat on the slider. Chris Davis trying to pull the ball to the left side or get the ball in the air deep enough. And similar situation for Stephen Vogt.
And Stephen Vogt pretty good in these spots. First pitch to Vogt. Breaking ball, foul back to the screen. So again, the corner infielders in. Don't give up a run on a ball hit to the middle infielders.
Well, the 2 fly balls Stephen Vogt has hit in the first 2 at bats will score a run now. There's Yu Darvish, a strikeout pitcher. By being able to throw as many as he does, he also has a possibility of bouncing one of those breaking pitches.
Strike bent around the outside corner. 0-2.
Well, a backdoor breaking ball, not exactly where he wanted it, and there you are, Kite, going around the plate.
Yep.
It looked like it went around, but Jerry Mills liked it.
So now Vogt's got to protect. 0-2. And he does as he fouls it down the first base line.
One of the things that so easy to think about but hard to do is Barnett, the right-hander, is getting loose. We saw lefty also getting loose. Definitely not Claudio after last night. It's Alvarez, who another lefty in the bullpen. But you have to remember that the pitcher is in trouble. He's the one that really has the trouble on him because of second and third and 1 out.
Fastball at 97. But well off the plate.
It was a waste pitch. You could see Lucroy move way outside and did not want it to come close to the plate, and it didn't. See Trevor Plouffe is on the bench.
That's good.
It's a good sign.
Curve, but stays outside. Full count. Lowry is the on-deck hitter.
Here's your one that definitely came around the plate. Jerry Mills as umpires will do, they set up on the right shoulder on the inside part of the plate, and so an outside pitch, you can see Mills actually move to make the call, whereas the first strike is a little bit different.
Tap slowly toward Odor. That'll get the run home. On to first, Vogt is out, but he picks up an RBI, and the A's have a 1-0 lead. So Stephen Vogt, very good at just getting it done.
That was a great job, especially falling behind 0-2. He had a backdoor breaking ball, and you can see the pitch cast sequence, and a breaking ball, another breaking ball called strike, and fouled off the way outside, and there comes one that he rolled over, which is exactly what he wanted to do. Not roll over so far that it goes to Napoli, where he can make a play, perfectly hit to second base, and that will get a lot of high fives. Matt Joyce, who walked to start the inning, went to third, was waiting for Stephen as he approached the dugout to give him a high five. Nicely done.
So Vogt gets his second RBI. Still another guy out there. Healy's at third.
Jed 2 for 2 with 2 hits up the middle, both times with a couple of strikes. Started the at bat 0-2. This time, first pitch is out of the strike zone.
Missed again. 2-0.
The thing about you, Darvish, Captain, you've talked about him when he's pitched, about the number of pitches he throws in a game. And as a result, he does not go very deep. Nope. 6 or 7 innings, and that's it because of the number of pitches. And he's at it once again. 95, number 96 coming up right there. So it could either be his last batter, last inning. Backdoor slider. Right at the corner, according to pitch cast.
Up the middle, but Andrus is right there. Well positioned. Side retired. The A's get a run. Walk double and an RBI ground out. Bottom of the 6th coming up. A's 1, Rangers 0.
And 5 great innings. Pitch count is down, and fastball is inside to Mazzari. Gets a ground ball back, makes an errant throw just off the glove of Marcus Semien, but he would get another chance, this time back to Semien, and a 1-6-3 double play. Strikeouts have been great. Great two-seamer as he threw to Mike Napoli to strike him out. Same for Odor. So Kendall Graveman dealing, and his pitch count is outstanding when you consider the A's finally scored him a run. Let's see if he can continue now that he does have a run on the board. Just 66 pitches.
First pitch to Rua is outside. Rua, Andrus, and Carlos Gomez. 8-9-1 for the Texas Rangers. just missed. 2-0. One walk, 3 strikeouts for Graveman.
9 ground ball outs in 5 innings.
Healy steps in and get a good hop, throws across, 1 out.
Well, the old equalizer, but it's so hard as a hitter to stand at the plate. And they were facing Tommy John. I had a 3-1 count. I said, is he going to throw me a sinker or a 4-seam fastball? And I was so in between, I beat the ball on the ground. And that's what happens if a pitcher has a sinker, because he can always go to that pitch in a fastball count. Any movement, in the case of Ruh, he gets a 2-0 sinking fastball, beats it to the ground at third base.
So here's the 9th place hitter, Elvis Andrus. Grounded out to third. Healy's been busy tonight. He is right even with the bag over at third. Andrus likes to bunt. Semien, high backhand, throws across in time, 2 outs.
Well, it's coming up. It's Korean Heritage Night presented by Cache Creek Casino Resort. It's on Tuesday, April the 18th, when the A's face the Rangers. Everyone that purchases a special ticket for this event will receive an exclusive A's Korean Heritage beanie. It's also a Chevy free parking Tuesday. To purchase and for information on discounts for groups of 25 or more, visit athletics.com/Korean or call 510-638-GO-A's. I'm sure that going to the tickets office will make sure we get a beanie. Korean Heritage.
Hope so. Want to know the count to the leadoff man, Carlos Gomez, who has lined out and grounded out. 12 in a row retired by Kendall Graveman. Semien in the hole again. He's going to have to hurry the long throw. Got him. Nicely done by Marcus Semien. 13 in a row retired by Kendall Graveman. 1-0 A's after 6.
On NBC Sports California is brought to you by the 2017 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. By AAA, what does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. And by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica.
Well, the A's with a 1-0 lead thanks to Stephen Vogt and a good inning getting the runner in. Marcus Semien, what a play. Good speed by Gomez sliding, and then Marcus Semien right over the top, extra on the throw. Good stretch by Alonso, getting Gomez by half step, and unfortunately, well, fortunately he makes the play, but it would have been a base hit had he beaten it out, and that's how close it was. Excellent play by Marcus Semien as he goes into a little bit of a bend. 12 ground ball outs for Kendall Graveman and 3 in the top of the bottom of the 6th inning.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. As Tony Barnett comes in, he pitched an inning last night through 17 pitches. Back out there tonight. Third appearance overall, facing the bottom 3 in the A's order. That one is belted toward right center for a hit by Yonder Alonso. Hit number 5 for the A's.
Kendall Graveman is pitching great, but a 1-0 lead. They'd like to have some run support, little insurance, and good way to start with a high fastball from Barnett to Yonder Alonso. It's a base hit back up the middle after lining out and striking out.
So Mark Canha hits for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2. Taps this one up the third base line, and that's a fair ball, and the throw to first.
Well, it's called by the home plate umpire. Must have been called foul. Then usually before it reaches the back, it's the home plate umpire's call.
That was close.
It was close, and charging it, and is it on the line? Wow, that's as close as it could be. You know, catching it the way he did, he lets it go. It's clearly foul, but that's on the line. When he caught it, looked like.
So the count 0-1 to Canha. So Yu Darvish goes 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts for Darvish. So he will not get the win tonight.
97 pitches for him, Kipe, and through 6 innings, the same 673 for Kendall Graveman. 40,000 plus we got in attendance, but they've been quiet tonight, which is good. Keeping quite another 9 outs.
Reach for, hit toward Napoli, who spins, fires low and into left field. And Alonso's going to try for third, and he's going to make it. Mistake by the Rangers, and the A's have first and third and nobody out.
Well, Napoli close to first base, opted to go straight to second, try to come back, and unfortunately when that happens, it's usually because, watch him recoil. He's trying to hurry up and get back, and as he makes the throw, he's probably as concerned about getting back to first base to take the return throw than the throw to second base. We talk about a pitcher throwing off the mound. Well, that's a little bit odd in the case of the first baseman trying to do too much with a play that you try to get the lead runner, get at least 1 out. Fortunately for the A's, it didn't work in the first and third, nobody out.
And here's Rajay Davis.
I think that same approach, the opposite field that he did with Yu Darvish.
Rajay checks his swing, did not go. So each team now with an error. The Rangers did not take advantage of the A's error. See if the A's can take advantage of the Rangers error. Plenty deep. Mazzaro backpedaling. He's got it. Tagging up is Alonso. He'll come in to score. And another good at bat for the A's as Rajay Davis gets a sacrifice fly, and it's 2-0.
That's a great approach. That is perfect. You don't want to open up. He stayed back to double the previous at bat, helped, and this one just as well to get a runner in. And the A's do take advantage of the mistake. Pitch away, down and away. Pretty good pitcher's pitch, but Rajay, because he was not trying to pull it, and maybe the double he hit the previous at bat helped him stay on that pitch, and Kendall Graveman has another run.
Still only 1 out for the top of the order, Marcus Semien, who has walked twice. and popped out to the shortstop. The Royals beat the Astros 7-3. That's the second straight win for the Royals over the Astros. They'll go for the sweep tomorrow.
Well, after the Mariners beat them in the final game of the 4-game series, they haven't won.
Lost 3 in a row now. Strike in the inside corner. The Mariners and the Angels will get started momentarily. Felix Hernandez for Seattle. Ricky Nolasco for the Angels. Jesse Chavez pitched very well last night for the Angels, and he got the win in game 1 of that series. Tigers beat the Red Sox earlier today, 4-1. Iglesias and McCann home runs, so that's the second straight day the Tigers have beaten the Red Sox in Detroit. Marcus Semien missed it, 2-2 the count. White Sox beat the Twins 6-2. First loss of the year for the Twins. They were 4-0. Remember last year, Ray, they started 0-9.
Yes, they did.
The Twins. Much different deal this year, but lost today 6-2. Check swing to the backstop.
Yeah, their abysmal season last year cost him Terry Ryan's job, probably the general manager, as he was relieved of his duties. Different year, that's what everybody looks forward to. He's doing the same after starting 1-3 last year against the White Sox. Just a bad start to the season because of a lot of things, but this is a different year.
So Semien goes down swinging for out number 2.
Pitch was up, breaking ball, and just enough that Marcus not able to make contact. The elevated pitch like that, of course, the pitch he made, the better pitch he made to Rajay Davis, a sac fly, but Marcus could not do anything with a hanging slider.
So Matt Joyce steps in. He's 0 for 2, walked and scored in the 6th. So lead-off walk in that 6th inning. Right to Odor, who was shaded a bit toward the hole. The A's get another run. A costly error by the Texas Rangers. So 7th inning stretch, 2-0 A's.
May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
If you're looking for Sharks hockey, coverage of the Flames Sharks game is airing now on NBC Sports California. Plus, which can be found on the channels listed here. If you can't find NBC Sports California Plus, log on to NBCSportsCalifornia.com or call your TV provider. Story right now is Kendall Graveman. He has a 2-0 lead, bottom of the 7th inning. And the Rangers have a 0 in the hit column. And his pitch count is pretty darn good.
Well, Kendall Graveman has been outstanding. How about 12 ground ball outs? How about a good fastball inside corner? Strikeout there. Here's a double play. Oh, that's the error, but he's going to get another chance, and he's going to do the same thing. This time go, perfect strike to Marcus Semien. And so Kendall Graveman then gets a big sinker to Mike Napoli. Another big sinker down. And how about this play by Marcus Semien to slide strong throw, getting the very speedy Carlos Gomez for the out. So 6 innings of excellent baseball. And if you think of 18 outs for 6 innings and 12 on the ground, that's a good combination. And Bob Melvin said before the game, ideally for Kendall Graveman, keep the ball on the ground, not in the air. You don't know what is going to happen. And so far he has been exactly what the skipper had wanted, not to mention the pitch count being very low.
Well, Graveman in the 5th inning threw 9 pitches, in the 6th inning threw 7 pitches. So that's really where he has helped his pitch count keep that under control.
And the thing is, he's fallen behind a couple of times. 2-0, throws a sinker, gets a ground ball, gets it out. 3 pitches instead of taking a deeper count.
First pitch to Chu is inside. Chu, Mazzara, and Napoli, the 2-3-4 hitters for Texas. Rangers last night had 10 runs and 11 hits, 4 doubles, 2 home runs, but nothing tonight so far. And first strike. Chu has bounced out twice.
It's the same pitch. Actually, it's up high, but the ball is moving so much it goes right back to the middle of the plate. And watch Chu as he gives up on it, but really it goes to the heart of the plate, about waist high actually.
And he chased that one. That one was up out of the strike zone. So strikeout number 4 for Graveman.
He looked frustrated on the previous pitch, like he thought it wasn't a strike, and then I guess decided he's going to swing at anything, and instead of being patient, ended up swinging the pitch out of the strike zone.
Here's Mazzara.
Well, here it is, and fastball, and right there in the middle of the plate to the point of swinging out of the strike zone. But staying inside with the heater. First were missed, the next 3 were strikes.
Good pitch on the inside corner. Mazzara has struck out and hit a fly ball to right field.
With the pitcher in this case now with a 2-run lead.
Way out in front of that one.
No,
the count is 0-2.
Just thinking, Kipe, that it's a little bit different. Nobody on base. You can afford to make a mistake and give up a home run. It's just 1 run.
Helps to jump ahead of the hitters. And
absolutely.
That's what Graveman's been able to do. Got him swinging. That one off the plate. Probably was not a strike.
But he'd gone 2 seamers all the night to Mazzara, coming back this one. And that's the ability of a pitcher that throws a cutter slider to be able to take it, the 2-seamer to come back and Texas sequence. And look at the fastballs. Fastball. The last pitch, though, is a slider down and in. And he went exactly the opposite of what Mazzara was looking for. Swung over the pitch and did not get the fastball. And that's just a great call by Stephen Bowe to go to the pitch going into the hitter instead of coming back over the plate.
First pitch to Napoli is hit high in the air, left center, and it's hit a ton. Rajai Davis on the move. Top of the wall and gone. So no hitter and shutout, both gone with 1 swing of the bat by Napoli.
Well, you remember the previous at bat that he struck out on the pitch that was sinking. Look at the location of this pitch. And he just went out and got it. And that's his power. And it looked like he went up with the intention of this bat to swing at anything and everything and try to get a pitch. He got in the first one and hit his first home run of the season.
So that'll bring up Odor. I said it hit the top of the wall. I think it hit maybe something on the other side of the wall, maybe the bullpen bench out there or something. 1-0 to Odor, who has walked and struck out. And he's got a base hit.
Well, you can elevate pitches at times when you're fooling a hitter. But if you don't, in the case of Odor, this location's supposed to be in, stayed up and away, and he went with it perfectly like Mazara did last night with the fastballs that he hit to left field. See the shift for him, but soft stuff, he has a tendency to pull more than he does with the heater, which he just hit to left field.
Ryan Doe quickly warming up.
You're right, quickly. Was it last night? He's warming up quickly, but not as quick.
No, nobody
warms
up like Ryan Doe.
Well, this is with 2 outs, strikeouts the first 2 batters, and maybe that in itself, something uncharacteristic of Kendall Graveman to get a lot of strikeouts with all the ground ball outs. 31 starts last year that Kendall made. 15 games, it was double figures in ground ball outs, and the other one he had 9 taken out for a pinch hitter in San Francisco. And Billy Butler ended up getting a single. So trying to keep the ball on the ground, and so we're talking about what Bob Melvin saying, keep the ball out of the air because these guys have the potential to hit home runs, and Napoli did.
Luke Croy reached on an air, grounded out, line drive into the glove of Simeon. And that will end the bottom of the 7th inning. Napoli with a home run, and the Rangers are on the board. So 8th inning coming up. A's 2, Rangers 1.
When the A's take on the Seattle Mariners, 10,000 fans will receive an A's Pet Calendar. It's presented by Evaderm Natural and Nylabone. For tickets and more information, visit athletics.com/promotions or call 877-493-BALL. Be there, get your calendar because it has the great A's schedule on it. You know exactly which pets the players love and your calendar.
A little chat in the dugout.
Cap, I think that's a manager saying, you know, you start to elevate to the last 2 batters. And when that happens, it means you might be getting a little bit tired, even though pitch count, but a lot of stress because it is the ballpark in Arlington. And If he's finished, bullpen try to get 6 outs for him to get a second win and get the A's their third win.
Healy to lead it off against a new pitcher. Jeremy Jeffries comes in out of the bullpen. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and brake experts. 29-year-old right-hander came over from the Brewers with Jonathan Lucroy. Big trade for Texas. He was a closer in Milwaukee. He's got good stuff. 27 saves last year before the trade. Healy had a big hit in this game, a double in the 6th that put runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out. So he is 1 for 3. Fastball inside at 94 miles an hour.
Well, that is his best pitch. Mid-90s fastball, curving a split finger fastball for a put away pitch. See how Jeff Bannister using his bullpen. Close game last night. Claudio was the savior for him, as was Jesse Hahn for the Athletics. But tonight, close game. Darvish 6 and then turns it over to the bullpen.
Santiago Casilla warming up for the A's, so it looks like he may get the 8th inning. Healy waits the 2-2 from Jeffries. Good swing, fouls it straight back. Tony Barnett goes 1 inning, gives up an unearned run. So Napoli's error, even though Napoli got the home run to get the Rangers on the board, that error may prove to be costly because it was an unearned run.
You have to wonder about Jeffers' put away pitch, the split finger fastball, and late swing by Ryan Healy. Last year, Jeffers did make 1 appearance against the Athletics. That was here in a 10-inning win for the Rangers. That's a splitter.
Tapped foul.
Not a good one.
In the bottom of the 8th inning, the Rangers will send up Gallo, Rua, and Andrus, the bottom 3. Jeffries working from the first base side of the rubber. Just about as far over on that side as you can get. So this will be pitch number 9 coming up. Everybody likes a different spot on the rubber.
Yes, they do. Different colors shoes too.
So make it 9 pitches. 6 foul balls by Ryan Healy.
Doing the wave here, and usually when that happens, Chuck Morgan puts a big old circle up on the scoreboard and puts an X through it. It's a no way, but they continue to do it.
Full count. So Healy in a good battle here. There's the wave. Yeah. Can live without it. Payoff pitch. Here it comes. And that one's hit high in the air to center. Gomez over into left center. And he grabs it for out number 1. Looks like it's died down a little bit. At least, and at least in this ballpark tonight where it's almost full.
Yeah.
If you're going to do the wave, you have to have almost full house. No, it's coming toward us.
You gonna stand up?
Negative. It's when the wave is done in a ballpark where there's 15,000 people there.
That's why they put the monster seats at Fenway Park, so those fans could get involved. Otherwise, you just had the green monster. And it kind of went to left field, and then 5 seconds later,
hesitation. Yeah. It's all Crazy George's fault. We had him in the booth last year. I don't even know what else to say.
Yeah, because we couldn't say anything because of his drum. He's beating on it too loud. And his raspy voice, yelling too much.
One 1-0 to Chris Davis. 1-1 to Chris Davis. Guess these guys would have been teammates in Milwaukee, right?
Yep. Sure should have. Yep.
Davis has seen Jeffries. That one's driven to center. Gomez back at the wall, and he leaps. It's off the wall. Rolls away, and Davis is going to have a long double. The question here is, did he keep that ball in the park? Because he got a glove on it, I believe.
Chris Davis, just tremendous power in straightaway center. And you're right, Gomez went straight back, and as he jumped, did he? I think you're right, Cap. I think he kept it in because it looked like it might have been going over as he went up.
Maybe he didn't get a glove on it.
Just over his glove, maybe over the top of it.
So with that double, Jeffries is out. So a lefty coming in to face Vogt. We'll have that matchup in a minute.
A's are introducing a Big Three bobblehead day featuring Mark Mulder, Tim Hudson, and Barry Zito, the Big Three. Purchase a group of 25 or more in the field level and select games, and your group will receive a limited edition Oakland A's Big Three bobblehead. There are only a few games available for this popular offer, so reserve now by calling 510-638-GO-A's or visiting athletics.com/groups. Can't wait to get one of those. You say the Adrian Beltre dancing bobblehead.
Yeah, I like that one too.
It's his legs dancing. It's not a head bobble. It's a straight head. His legs are dancing.
It's his thing.
So the A's having a Big Three bobblehead. And then they're having a Zito and a Tejada MVP Cy Young Award bobblehead. Melbourne coming up on May the 6th, so good things happen at the Coliseum.
Here's the lefty on lefty matchup. Dario Alvarez, 28-year-old left-hander. Second appearance this year. Got one job to do, try to get Vogt. Alvarez came over in a trade last July from the Atlanta Braves. Swing and a miss. Good fastball, kind of sneaky, 92 miles an hour, but it jumps at you.
Fastball, slider, and changeup, and he does have a fastball that will reach the 93, 94 range, but that one, lefty on lefty, seems a little sneaky.
Vogt 0 for 3 with the big RBI ground out. Pulled off that time. Looked like a slider at 82.
Oh.
Well, he's seen everything now, right? Fastball, right. The slider.
Yeah.
You don't see a lefty reliever with a whole lot more than a fastball and a slider.
Jesse Hahn different last night, but he's a starter. How about a slider outside or a fastball outside and punch it through the left field for a base hit? Yep.
And he stayed with the slider, and that's a nasty pitch, so he gets a big strikeout of Vogt.
Now here's Jed Lowry as a switch hitter, and they have the matchups. Here's a big slider outside. Steven pulled off just enough and with the strikeout. So the matchups, the numbers for Jed Lowry versus lefty versus righty must be better, because during spring training he was hopeful of seeing some lefties to bat right-handed, which he will do now, and try to get his third hit of the night, drive in the A's third run.
That runner is Chris Davis at second base. Slider for a strike, 79 miles an hour. Davis not really being held, so he's going to be able to get a good lead.
Well, the difference with Rajay Davis at second when he was picked off versus Chris Davis in one out when Rajay, and he was thinking about stealing third, and they picked him off with an inside move. But you're right, this is a time you look around, see where the shortstop, second baseman are playing. They want to keep their position, hold on to the position. I guess all the cell phones are on this. Look around the stadium, see how many cell phones people have.
Something's going on.
Yeah, they seem to do this very safe. We've seen it, I don't know, but they're the cell phones when they put the light. So there's a lot of cell phones here tonight. Shut down the tower. They do that at golf tournaments, you know that. They just started doing that.
Probably a good idea.
Because at the Phoenix TPC, I think they said there was no service. Instead of having a phone ring while somebody's putting.
Into the corner, and it falls. Fair ball. Run scores. Lowry's going to stop at second.
Wow.
Thank you, wind.
That's exactly what happened. He did not stay with it. He didn't stay with it. Even Ed Hickox at second base is smiling. He can't believe it.
Well, from everything we saw, it was going into the seats.
Yeah.
And it just kept coming back.
Pitches away. He went with it. Slicing. Mazzara went after it. Gave up on it. Here it comes back. And just, oh, wow. So thank you. And Jed Lowry just keep running. Get to second base for a run-scoring double.
So Lowry 3 for 4, and he will take it. That's a huge run.
That's a big run. You're right.
So Alonso will get an at-bat. Hits one high in the air, right center, hit a ton. Gomez at the wall, and it's gone. Yonder Alonso, happy birthday.
Last night, that extra run or an extra out was given to the Rangers. Odor hit a two-run home run. This turns into be a 3-run inning because of the misplay by Mazar in right field. Yonder on happy birthday, straightaway center, not an easy thing to do, but he got a first pitch fastball. He hits his first home run of the season. And Alvarez wondering, did he get enough? And man, was it crushed and going back, and the ball had to be knuckling because when Gomez doesn't jump for a ball, you know something's happened. What a big turn of events.
So just like that, it's 5-1. Mike Housechild just now beginning to throw. Well, with Casilla warming up, he's going to come in the game. He's been out there warming up, so you might as well get him in there.
Well, Bob Melvin knows, as we all know, Cap, that this is a tough park, and if you've got somebody hot ready to come in, why not? Although Kurt Young looks like he's going to the phone. But if he's loose, I don't know if anybody else could get loose quickly enough to come in if he's asked to.
So, Ray, remember last night we talked about how defense is sometimes underrated in the course of how it changes a game.
Yeah.
And if you think about tonight, Napoli made a mistake. That's 1 run. Mazzaro just made a mistake. That's cost him 3 runs.
That's right.
That's 4 runs
Yeah.
that the Rangers defense and mistakes
Yeah.
have given to the A's. And I don't mean to say given. I mean, it's certainly
Open it up to be able to, exactly,
Yep.
to be able to. A's have capitalized.
Yep.
You have to do that. Rangers did last night. The A's tonight.
So a big 3 spot. The final 2 coming on that swing of the bat by Yonder Alonso. 5-1 A's as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. So this was a pitcher's duel through 5. In fact, Kendall Graveman didn't allow a hit until the 7th. But when it's all said and done right now and heading to the bottom of the 8th, the A's are leading 5-1. Graveman was terrific. Darvish was good for 6. But a few mistakes by the Rangers, and the A's have capitalized big time. Alonso having a happy birthday. Alonso 2 for 4 with a 2-run homer tonight. So the A's with a 4-run lead, and when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So Santiago Casilla comes in for his 3rd appearance, facing Joey Gallo.
Kendall Graveman last Monday night left the game after 6 innings. Actually was going to be out. Chris Davis hit a home run, gave him the win tonight. We saw in the dugout he was coming out of the game. 2-1 lead. A's add 3 more. And then Casilla comes in.
And a quick 0-2 Rua to follow, and then Andrus. Good pitch outside corner, drops in there, strike 3 call.
Quick pitch.
A little bit.
But all curveballs, and he has a good one in, especially to the lefters. So Santiago Casilla, a little bit of a quick pitch, dropped the hook in right on the outside corner, and there's what you're talking about with the pitch cast, that the curveball, although Stephen Vogt caught it which looked like out of the strike zone, but it crossed the plate in the strike zone area.
One away for Rua. First pitch strike. Rua has grounded out twice, both times to Healy at third. That could have been a strike. Big curveball that time. Hit well. Davis in center, hustling back, and he makes a terrific catch.
That was a play. Hope he's okay. Straight over his head. Tremendous play by Rajay Davis. Hit very hard by Ryan Rua to straightaway center. Rajay giving up his body, banging into the wall, and then doing a backflip, but catching the ball, concentrating, hitting the wall hard. Fortunately, it's padded. But that's tremendous concentration by Rajay Davis to make a tremendous play and hang on to the ball once he hit the ground hard.
Casilla pumps a first pitch strike in there. I think I've noticed with Casilla, Ray, and this is only his third appearance, but when he was with the Giants, he was a notoriously slow worker. So maybe he's changed that a little bit. I do think when he gets a few runners on, he slows things down. Andrus is grounded out twice, once to third and once to short.
Well, the old saying, Kite, eventually you have to throw it, so why not do it quickly? you can't stall. It's not like basketball where you can hold on to the ball. You have to throw it eventually and just get it and go. Kendall Graveman has done that, and you see the success he's had since he started just getting the ball, throwing sinkers, and rapid fire.
Top of the order, Carlos Gomez would be next. So now full count. Casilla needed to throw a strike, and he did.
He's acting like he hit his arm pretty hard on the wall when he went back on Chris Davis' ball.
In the air, could be playable. Alonso waits. No. These were hoping for a little help from the wind again. Wrap up the series tomorrow. A's pregame live at 11 a.m. back in the Bay Area. Another 3-2 pitch, and again foul back. Graveman's final line. 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Breaking ball is drilled toward Davis. You get a good jump on it, and he makes the catch. So, Rajai Davis with a beautiful play, worth another look. Headed to the 9th, he's leading 5-1. Top of the 9th inning. Make sure you join us tomorrow. The A's and the Rangers will wrap up this 3-game series. Sean Manaea, Martin Perez, a couple of good young left-handers. Our coverage begins at 11 a.m. with A's pregame live. You can now stream the A's on the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app. So we'll look forward to that matchup. And then on to Kansas City. The Royals will have their home opener on Monday. Rajai Davis rifles one to the gap in left center field. Rajai digging around second. He'll stop there. Rajai Davis with his second double. So 2 doubles and a sacrifice fly for Rajai Davis. Hey, when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Major League debut for Mike Housechild. He was a Rule 5 pickup from the Houston Astros.
I think Rajai knew that. He just swung the first pitch anyway.
Rajai's such a nice guy, too. So, Housechild. First pitch he threw in the big leagues is hit for a double.
It's a rope. Rajai's thinking about himself. Makes a great defensive play. Got a couple of doubles. Feeling good about himself after struggling a bit, but he knows what young man can do. Figured he wanted to throw a strike for his first pitch in his debut, even though it was the low 90s, still able to hit it and hit it hard for a double.
So Marcus Semien falls behind quickly in the count. Semien has walked twice. He's popped to short. He has struck out 0 for 2. Just got a piece of that one. Matson getting loose for the 9th. Not a save situation. Blocked nicely by Lucroy. Rajay's going to try for third, and he made it.
Rajay was trying to get to third. Got picked off. When he hit the double, this ball in the dirt though, and he's able to go quickly enough to get in safely. Lucroy reacted very quickly. Strong throw on the money, but Rajay, secondary lead, ball in the dirt. He did hesitate momentarily. And a good throw by Lucroy, but Rajay Davis able to get in safely. But you have to react very quickly. You cannot hesitate.
Now the Rangers bring the infield in. Well, makes things a little bit easier for Marcus Semien. Well, foul into the upper deck. Down the left field. He's now with 9 hits. The Rangers with just the 2. Pitched well in spring training, well enough to help the squad. And there's a base hit to center field. As Semien reaches down, pokes it into center. Rajay Davis trots home, and it's 6-1.
Good night for Marcus Semien in leadoff spot. A couple of walks, drives in his first run, and a 2-strike base hit for Marcus Semien. He'll take that on a slider. Shall think maybe will be the 5th starter eventually when they do need a 5th. Rajay scores the run, adds to it. It's a good night for Rajay. This got to be a very good night for Rajay to make him happy. He's been struggling. But a good night for him defensively as well as on the bases, swinging the bat, doing everything to help his ball club. Just enough to get him going.
Scored a run, knocked in a run, a couple of doubles. Matt Joyce looking for his first hit. He did walk and score in the 6th. And at that point, that was the first run of the game. Matt Joyce hitting in the 2 spot tonight. So I'm going to give you a score, Ray, that you probably don't care much about. Neither do I, but there's a reason for it. The Phillies beat the Nationals 17-3 in Philadelphia tonight. Wow. Why am I telling you that, you may ask? Because the Phillies scored 12 runs in the 1st inning.
Oh.
After one from Philadelphia, 12-0 Phillies. At least you're the home team. 12 runs in the 1st inning against the Washington Nationals. I should check who started that game for,
I was going to say
for Washington, because that's kind of crazy. Jeremy Guthrie. I just called Jeremy Guthrie up.
Remember when in Colorado he started for them? He threw a bullet to Todd Helton from about 10 feet. He was so upset. Game that Brandon Moss went deep twice, 2nd deck, 3rd deck.
There goes Lucroy's throw. Squirts out of the glove of Elvis Andrus, and it'll be a stolen base for Semien.
Matt Joyce was called out.
That was a strike.
Pitch. He called that a strike.
I didn't see that coming.
Well, Matt Joyce wasn't happy. Can't blame him, I don't think. He's getting ready to take off the shin guard. Looked like he's down and in, and all of a sudden he's heading back to the dugout with a few choice words.
So 1 out, runner at second. Here's Ryan Healy. He's doing a little bit of everything tonight. Going for 5 doubles and the home run. Some good at bats with runners at third and less than 2 outs. Toward left, Rua's back. You could just kind of tell that Healy did not quite get it all.
Slightly off the end of the bat, I think. Just enough of the slider to get him towards the end. Otherwise, it would have been his third.
So Healy 1 for 5 as he heads back to the dugout. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th with the run in. Chris Davis is 1 for 4, doubled and scored in the 8th inning. Davis now 7 for 20 on the year. 3 of those 7 hits home runs. Mickey Montas now next to Ryan Madson.
This Ryan Madson needs the work. He could be available to close tomorrow if the A's got in that position.
No swing. It's a big deal for a manager if you get a guy up and they get heated up in the bullpen. The manager really wants to bring him in the game. You hate to have the guy go through it all and get loosened up, throw 20, 25 pitches, and then not come in the game.
You know, with Ryan Madson, he'd had a little bit of a, not shoulder, but in the neck area. And it could be just getting loose. Maybe he's going to pitch the 9th. Maybe he still will. Maybe Montas, who is more of a long reliever anyway, might just be getting some work in. And it could be the same for Madson. He's had the off day Tuesday. They'll play tomorrow afternoon and then Monday.
2-2 to Chris Davis. Simeon, the runner at second, dancing off. And now full count. So Rothschild in his major league debut has given up a run. He's thrown 22 pitches. He'll always remember the date, April 8th.
The anniversary of Hank Aaron hitting number 715.
Pretty good breaking ball, and Davis swings and misses, side retired. A run for the A's on 2 hits. Bottom of the 9th coming up. 6-1 Athletics.
Opportunity because Mazzaro's missed play in right field and goes deep on the first pitch that he sees. And straight away center field on top of it. Crushed it. And Nick knew it was gone as he stood at home plate, but carried over the center field wall. A 2-run home run on his birthday. That's the day that he'll always remember, a home run on his birthday.
So 6-1 A's lead the Rangers, bottom of the ninth. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So it is the veteran right-hander Ryan Madson coming in for his 3rd appearance. Try to make quick work of the Rangers. Get the A's their first road win of the season. Top of the order, Carlos Gomez, who's 0 for 3. And the Rangers only have 2 hits, and they were back-to-back. Napoli broke up the no-hitter with 2 outs in the 7th inning with a home run. And then the very next hitter was Odor, and he singled. And that is it. Vogt setting up inside, and Madson gets it inside. Gomez rolls it foul. Sean Manaea tomorrow against Martin Perez. Couple of lefties. Again, our coverage starts at 11 a.m. with A's pregame live. Be a nice day here in Arlington. Although it sounds like next week maybe the rain is coming a little bit. So, strange weather.
Well, if the wind has anything to do with it, it's going to bring it in.
Full count to Carlos Gomez. Stays alive.
Sinker down and in, and not just your 4-seam fastball in the middle of the plate. Ryan Madson's numbers last year against the Western Division of the American League, his own division, a lot of games were not that good, and that's why Bob Melvin talked about Casillas. He closed out the game Monday.
High in the air to Rajai Davis. He's headed into right center field with plenty of room, and he has it. So one away here in the ninth. Stay tuned after the game for A's post-game live presented by State Farm. Coming up. If the A's win it, maybe we'll have a chat with the birthday boy.
If the A's win it, we'll chat with somebody. That would be good.
First pitch to Chu is a strike in the inside corner.
Be good just to do an interview on the road.
Chu is 0 for 3. He did have a hit taken away from him in the 4th inning by Ryan Healy.
And he probably has taken, he had a bat taken away by Jerry Mills, a home plate umpire, before he struck out on the pitch head high. That was his last at bat after Kendall Graveman 2 quick strikeouts before the Napoli home run. So 6 2/3 innings of no-hit baseball for Kendall Graveman.
Again, hit high and foul. Omar Mazzara waits in the on-deck circle. The crowd tonight, 44,410. A good share of them have left. It was a big crowd tonight. Maybe a couple thousand short of a sellout. Casilla, 1 good inning of work, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. After Graveman went 7. And a 2-2 pitch. Chu chased a pitch that was in the dirt, and he strikes out for the second time. So it has been a tough night for Shin-Soo Choo. 0 for 4.
Good changeup cut, and that is the specialty of Ryan Madson. And same delivery out of the strike zone. But he does a good job swinging through a pitch. Good job by Madson, not so good by Chu, who was not happy with himself. That's what Ryan Madson does best. He throws a great changeup.
So here's Mazzara, last chance for the Rangers. Mazzara, after his big night last night where he knocked in 6 runs. Quiet tonight, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And Madson, that ball's darting around a little bit.
On the article in the paper this morning about Mazzara talking about last year towards the second half, or in the second half, he's swinging a lot of bad pitches, and he just swung at one there. And of course, Kendall Graveman ate him up with a good fastball inside 2-seamer that had him actually taken in the first inning. And stayed inside pretty consistently all night.
Yeah, that's a good call. Graveman just wore out the inside corner to the left-handed hitters. He got in there and he wouldn't get out. He went in their kitchen and never left.
Probably had lunch and dinner, a few snacks.
He had 2 meals in their kitchen. And
but the amazing thing, he was able to stay in there, and they made some adjustments, but they still couldn't hit him. And if they did, they pulled it foul.
It's not easy pitching inside. I mean,
well, not in this
especially
park.
Young players.
Yeah, in this park with left-handers, you make a mistake. And is Odor last night with Alcantara, he threw a mistake, and Odor crushed it to right field.
3-2 pitch swing and a miss, and that's the ball game. So the A's even up the series, and a game apiece with a very well played all-around game tonight. The A's will go for the series win tomorrow afternoon here in Arlington. 2 hours and 59 minutes in front of 44,410. Final score behind Kendall Graveman, Yonder Alonso, and the rest of the gang. The A's beat the Rangers 6-1. You've been watching A's baseball on NBC Sports California. Don't go away. A's Post Game Live presented by State Farm starts right now.